Do y'all want to know what started the Great Depression? What was happening in our country? Let me know if any of this sounds familiar. Obviously, we know the stock market crash of 1929 happened. This happened because people were borrowing money to buy stocks. Borrowing money to buy stocks, causing an inflated price, lowering the value. But when people couldn't pay the loans of the money that they borrowed to buy those said stocks, banks started to collapse. There was financial panic. With no federal deposit insurance, people were losing entire life savings. There's an overproduction and under-consumerism because nobody could afford to buy anything. Bought all these things in the early 1900s into the early 1920s, making these big industries think that they could keep up with it, that people are going to continue to buy things. Once the stock market crashed, people couldn't buy anything anymore. So these big manufacturers had a whole bunch of product no one was buying. They couldn't afford it. This caused massive layoffs and an economic decline. Then the agricultural collapse happened. Even though that started in the early 1920s, they got their butts handed to them by the Dust Bowl. These farms were borrowing money to maintain their farms. When they finally were able to start producing again, nobody could afford to buy their stuff because they were broke. Then the U.S. Congress passed the Smoot-Hawley tariff to help protect American industries. And as a result, other countries started implementing their own tariffs, leading to a global trade war. Sure, it slowed international trade, but it worsened the global depression. The government had a very weak initial response to all this. President Hoover pushed for rugged individualism. He didn't want to provide direct aid to help these people that are suffering. He said that you need to pull you up your bootstraps and fix it yourself. People weren't conditioned for that. So when he did start releasing some aid, it was too late. And then, of course, an unequal distribution of wealth. Does any of that sound familiar to you? 96 years later, we overbought, we overborrowed, we couldn't keep up with the payments. We had a president who intentionally pushed for rugged individualism, not doing anything about the unequal distribution of wealth. Now, how do you think they got out of the Great Depression? I can tell you how. People said, enough's enough. We're done with the rugged individualism. We're done with the things that divide us. We need to find a way to come back to one another. My grandpa was born in 1923. His parents owned a dairy farm. His parents realized they had a whole bunch of dairy stuff to move. People were starving. So they came up with the decision to trade and barter the labor to get the milk delivered. My grandmother was born in 1924. She was the second oldest of 7. Her mother was an English professor who taught her girls, all 7 of them, how to cook, clean, sew, and tutor. These girls survived with these skill sets by helping others trade their skills and their knowledge to keep their family going, fed and clothed. 3 weeks ago, I had this idea because things look real familiar right before the Great Depression. Fighting against individualism, rugged individualism, and bringing people to connect, support, help, and as a result, trade and barter. I created a What Do You Got US server for people to connect with each other, to help one another, to learn to trust one another again in order to trade and barter. We the people have a problem here. Only we the people have the solution. Fighting against rugged individualism and choosing to help, making the conscious choice. The link is in my bio. We can't do this by ourselves. We have 760 something people in the group, but we need more. Come join us. It's pretty nice over there. Take care.